Hello, Mordimers here, and welcome again today because something incredible happened. Magnus Carlsen actually streamed on Twitch, and I'm not sure he was trolling or the drama with Hikaru Nakamura and chess.com platform continues, but Magnus Carlsen played on the chess.com platform, but he made it look like, you know, chess 24, so I'm not sure what was the idea here, but the most important, he just produced 6 hours of stream, so he played a lot of interesting games. However, in one of these games, I think this was the most beautiful the game in 2020, so we have this masterpiece which I would like to show you. Now I'm gonna introduce you the opponent. So Magnus Carlsen, nobody needs the introduction, but he's the world champion by ranking number 2 in blitz, because that was a blitz, so he's ranking 2887, but of course he is the world champion, triple world champion in blitz, also in rapid and also in the standard time control. He's 29 years old, from Norway, and he's gonna play as black. And his opponent, Paulo Supi, grandmaster from Brazil. However, his ranking on blitz is not as high as regular rankings. Maybe he didn't play as many tournaments, but the ranking is 2369. He is from Brazil, and he is only 23 years old, and he's gonna play as white. So without further ado, let's see what magic happened on the board. We have e4 by Supi and d5 by Magnus Carlsen. Scandinavian defense, very standard. Magnus Carlsen plays very often. E takes on d5, queen takes on d5, and now not knight on c3, which usually Magnus goes for queen on d6, and there are a lot of interesting and sharp lines over there, but rather knight on f3. And the idea here is to just castle very fast. Bishop on e2, just castle, play d4, c4, control the center, develop pieces, and so on. So that is the idea. So we have bishop on g4 by Magnus Carlsen, bishop on e2, and here knight on c6. So as you see, black also can castle very fast. And here the main line, I would just show you the main line because it's also quite crazy. d4, castle on the queen side, and now c4, kicking the queen. The point is, after queen on f5, the pawn is attacked twice, okay, by the knight and by the rook. So something has to be done about that. Pushing the pawn on d5 is not so great, because there is no threat here, because the pawn is pinned anyway, so actually that doesn't make much sense. So bishop on e3 is usually played, and after bishop f3, black sacrifice the knight on d4. That's temporary, but it looks like, you know, very interesting. So knight on d4, bishop d4, and then queen e6 with check, bishop e2, and now queen e4 with the attack on the bishop. And it's double attack. The bishop is of course pinned, so cannot be moved, and also the queen is looking on g2. So the position is very interesting, and after castle, queen takes on d4, and black actually are slightly behind the development, however have one extra pawn, and pawn is also always the pawn, so definitely interesting. So this is the main line of the opening. However, Paulo Supi play knight on c3, kicking the queen. Now queen goes to d7, as the bishop is already developed, so, you know, moving the queen on d6 is not necessary in this position, and we have h3, kicking the bishop. And here this is still a theory. Bishop on h5 of course is possible, but the most popular move is bishop takes on f3, eliminating the defender of the king side castle. We have bishop on f3, and now castle by Magnus Carlsen. We have also castle by Supi, and here knight on f6 was played already, normal developing move, but also Kramnik play e5 against Morozevich, just, you know, 11 years ago, and he won that game. So e5 with the rapid development makes a position of black really comfortable to play. However, Magnus Carlsen, this is blitz, he has a different idea. He played knight on d4, keeping an eye on this bishop, as this bishop, you know, looking at b7 and sometimes can be very annoying. So here is the idea. Also, the future moves like, you know, moving the pawn on d4 will not be possible, as the knight, you know, is blocking the pawn, so development in the center. And here we have a4. A4 move, but the idea is not to, you know, run with the pawn like the chicken with the cut head. No, this is not the idea. Here the idea is completely different. After king on b8 we have knight on b5, so kicking away this knight, and actually it's a very nice pawn sacrifice, which of course nobody would take, because after knight on b5 and taking the pawn, this rook would be already developed on the semi-open file. Also d3 is coming, bishop can be developed maybe this way, and black doesn't have even much pieces on the front, only the queen, which is very vulnerable, and white just gonna have the crushing attack here. So definitely bad idea, you know, to take this pawn, and also keep in mind that the knight is under attack. So Magnus Carlsen eliminates the bishop, as the bishop was also looking at b7. We have queen on f3 by Supi, and now a6, kicking the knight. And here Paulo Supi, you know, didn't freak out. He didn't move the knights. Actually, these are the best move in the position. Also d4, aggressive move, sacrificing the knight also can be played, because the bishop can enter the game very fast. So that would be the idea. However, we have c4. No idea why we have the c4. This is actually the engine shows that this is the blunder. Maybe that was the mouse slip. Maybe this is a different idea. Magnus Carlsen should just take, you know, in this position should just take and play queen on d3, blocking d2. So this was possible to block d2, and now this bishop cannot enter the game to f4, cannot enter the game here. So this would be the saving day for the Magnus Carlsen. He would play with the extra piece, so even queen on f7, just e5, develop the pieces very fast, or even here, and create maybe some chances, maybe move the bishop. There are a lot of plans, and definitely connect the rooks, and black stands really great here. Extra piece is extra piece, so definitely good idea. However, after c4, Magnus play developing move first, e5. So developing move, so bishop now, for example, opening the diagonal for the bishop, but also controlling f4. So the bishop from c1 cannot be developed to f4 and attack together with the knight. That would be quite annoying. So that is the idea. But here Supi just, you know, goes all in. He doesn't care about the material, and now sacrifice the pawn on d4. Now take it or don't take it. Magnus shouldn't take it, just, you know, continue development. Knight e7 would be okay. D takes on e5, yes, that's the possible, but knight c6, and his position is quite strong and comfortable to play. He is the pawn down and quite annoying e5 pawn, but this pawn without support, you know, Magnus have the time, you know, to win that pawn back and then continue the game. However, Magnus was a bit greedy here, and he played e takes on d4. So now he doesn't have the control on f4 square, which can be very important, because bishop on f4 was played immediately here. And look at this, we already have very serious threat. And what to play as black now? Actually, rook on c8 is the strongest move in the position. It's very passive move, so white definitely, you know, gonna continue the attack. Bishop on d6 actually also could be played, but it's also not really great, because now white gonna, you know, just exchange the knight, which was under attack. So knight knight d6, c takes on d6, b4, and this attack gonna be very, very strong. Rook can join, the bishop is already on the same diagonal, the queen is watching on the king's position. This is just, you know, lost for black. So Magnus just, you know, if he's under attack, at least he gonna take the piece. Then when he defends, then he can give the piece back if he can, and he just takes a takes on b5. We have a takes on b5, and only now bishop on d6, challenging the bishop on f4. So now everything looks like, you know, black position is fine. However, there are two ways to win that game, and let's call them like Emanuel Lasker said, one is the butcher way and one is the artist way. So first I will show you the butcher way, but luckily for us, Luis, Paulo, Supi choose the artist way. So c5 is the butcher way. The idea is very simple. The queen want to go on a3 and checkmate just on a8, and that's all. This is the idea. So now, as you see, the bishop cannot control a3. So bishop c5, and now b6, and here is the idea. If bishop takes, then of course we're gonna have queen on a3 and checkmate is coming. The pawn is pinned, so cannot take. So actually after knight on e7 or whatever move, bishop c7 is coming, and that is the butcher way. There is only one move, queen on c8, that would be a checkmate, and the second move is actually sacrificing the queen to not get checkmated. So as you see, white is winning, but that's the butcher way. But Luis, Paulo, Supi play the artist way, and he play rook on a2. Very subtle idea and very simple idea. Help your pieces will help you. Now rook gonna come to a1, double the rooks, and checkmate is coming. So Magnus Carlsen of course see that's dangerous, and he play queen on f5. Now attacking the bishop twice, so he can win the bishop, but also make a very, very comfortable path for the king. So seems like Magnus Carlsen escaping the judgment. What Mr. Supi did? Rook f on a1 as planned, and now Magnus just gonna escape king c8. And here, feel free to pause the video and show the artist way how to win that game, while I enjoy my cup of tea. Okay, ready? So if you've seen the thumbnail, then probably I destroy your fun, so sorry about that. If you haven't seen that and you found this move, then congratulations. And if you couldn't find this, then look at this. Queen on c6, bang! And this is incredible move. So sacrificing of the queen, and Magnus was just speechless. I'm gonna leave the link in the description to the reaction of Magnus, but it's on Twitch TV, so probably it's gonna be removed pretty soon. So watch it now, and if you watch this video later, then you have to find yourself. But Magnus was just speechless. He just make whoa, whoa, and it's like, you know, just incredible reaction. And what is the idea? Of course, the queen now cut the escaping path of the king, so king cannot escape, and the checkmate is coming, and black cannot do anything because after b takes on c6, checkmate is coming anyway. The only thing black can do, just throw a couple of pieces, but it doesn't really matter. Queen on b1 maybe distract the rook, but it still doesn't matter. King b8 because you know, the checkmate was coming, but it's still, you know, just a checkmate. Whatever move is done, and then it's just checkmate. So beautiful game. So, you know, I'm very happy I just spot that. And if you enjoyed that video, just press like, and if you didn't enjoy, still press like, because this is just beautiful. And if you don't want to miss any other content I produce, press subscribe, smash the bell button, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.